I'm here talking about the Husqvarna Viking Designer Topaz 50, and this is a great embroidery machine. It is very easy to use, and you can do some really wonderful things with it. It is sewing and embroidery, so it's a great place to get the introductory to embroidery while still having a phenomenal sewing machine. So let's open this up. As you can see, there are many stitches to choose from, and threading is extremely easy. But let's talk about how to get to these phenomenal stitches and what all of this is. So this is we can control what's happening at a touch of our fingertips. So this is an automatic lower foot, so there's no lever. It will automatically drop the foot and start sewing as soon as you hit the foot pedal. You can also use the start-stop function, and so like cruise control. So if you're doing a lot of decorative stitching and you got a lot of decorative stitching to do, you can use the start-stop function and just go. And what's so great is Husqvarna Viking, you can leave the foot pedal plugged in while you do that. And what that means is I can now use my foot pedal as an emergency brake. So as I'm sewing, if I want to stop at any time, I can just touch the foot pedal and everything will stop. So it is really a great feature. And for those of you that do free motion, that is a fantastic feature. So to lower and raise the foot, we have the controls right on the front of the machine here. So we can lower the foot, we can raise the foot, and if I touch the raise again, it'll raise it to the highest position. So I can get anything in here, quilts, coats, pet beds, etc. I also have a stop and a fix feature. The stop will finish at the rotation of whatever stitch you've selected. So if you've stitched a heart, it'll stitch one rotation of the heart and then stop. The fix button will stop wherever it is and make a small controlled knot for you, a little tie off. And then we also have a scissors, snips, cutter, and this will cut the thread for us and pull everything to the back. It is very nice. We also have speed control, and we also have needle up, needle down. So when you select the needle down position, every time you stop sewing, it'll stop with the needle in the down position. And what is nice is when you do that, it'll raise the foot up just a little bit to the pivot height so you can adjust your fabric. It is great for applique or if you're turning corners or anything like that. It is very nice. So I'm going to bring everything up. I can lower my feed teeth right here just by flipping this little switch. And to turn the feed teeth back on, I will flip the switch back, and as soon as it takes a stitch, it will engage those teeth again. Right? Another nice thing about the Husqvarna Vikings is I can just come over here and thread a bobbin right from my needle. So if I run out of thread, it is very convenient to rewind a bobbin without unthreading everything. But threading is extremely easy. We do have a free arm for your smaller projects, bags, kids' clothes, pet clothes, etc. We also have this wonderful ruler down here, and it is very convenient to have a ruler right at your fingertips. And there's a small portion of this ruler that is designed for buttons. So this does have a sensor buttonhole system, and you can just plug that in and tell it what size button you're working with. So you just lay your button down, type in the number, and it'll make perfectly balanced buttonholes automatically, as many as you want. So let's come on over and talk about this screen for a moment. I'm going to go ahead and close this. So this is a color touch screen here. And what is great is it will tell you everything that you need to know about sewing this stitch. This is a straight stitch. This is right here your sewing advisor. So what you can do here is tell it what kind of fabric you're working with, and it'll automatically adjust your tension, adjust your stitch length, stitch width, etc. It's really, really awesome. But one of the things when you do that, it'll also make recommendations for a needle, whether or not you need stabilizer, etc. It's all really right here and very, very helpful. And especially if you're new to sewing and embroidery, this is a great help. So we're just going to set it to woven medium, which is your quilting cottons and stuff like that. And on here we have a little bit more information. So here is a little icon, and that is your stitch restart function. So if you're finished the end of a row and you want to start at the top and you need to restart the stitch, it'll just restart it right at the back at the beginning of the stitch. Or if you've started sewing and you catch a little mistake, you can just touch restart and it'll start your stitch all over again. Right next to it here is free motion. So if I touch the free motion, it's going to give me an option of what kind of foot do I want to use. Do I want to use a spring-loaded foot, or do I want to use a floating foot? So like a ruler foot, for instance, is considered a floating foot. We'll tell it okay. But once we tell it what kind of foot we're going to be using, again, it makes all the adjustments and we're all set. Okay? So this is our home screen. I'm going to go to my stitches, and this is where we can select from all of our beautiful stitches. So I'm just going to touch and hold on the stitch, and it's going to show me all of my different menus to choose from. So if we touch and hold, we can bring up all of our different menu options, and if I can select any of the menu options, and once again they're giving us what they are here, and I can select whatever I would like to select. So if I want to go camping, there's a little camper. If I want to just stitch it one time, I touch the stop and it's just going to give me one rotation of the camper. I can also program if I wanted a camper, a car, a camper, a trailer, a bike, etc. It's really, really easy to do. I'm going to come over to my options here so I can select my stitches again. I can look at my fonts. I have 5 different fonts to choose from. And I also have my programming ability, and I said, let's program a camper and a car and all that good stuff. So here is my car, and here is my camper, and let's go down to, let's just tell it okay. And again, I can program in a stop, which I forgot to do. But if I can program in a stop and it'll stitch just the one time, so I do the car and the camper, or I could have a whole train of stuff if I wanted to do. Just depends on what I want to do. That's the wonderful thing, is that whatever my mind takes me, I can take it and do stuff with it. I also have mirror image capability if I want to flip it side to side, and I can also flip it end to end if I want to drive camper first, and so that's you can do. All right. And this is the sewing side of it in a nutshell. There is so much more to it, but it's just playing with it. It is so amazing. But this is enough to get you started. Now down here, we are in the sewing side, and let's talk about embroidery. So there's an icon for the sewing machine, and then there's a longer icon that shows embroidery. I want to go over to embroidery, because this is where we really can have fun. So if I come over here, I can get my options, I do have some embroidered fonts to choose from, and I have 6 embroidered fonts to choose from, and I have a whole bunch of designs. So there are just tons of designs built in. They're just gorgeous. Everything from quilting to kids to decorative to home deck to lace. Just gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. I'm going to go ahead and select one here. And I can select my hoop options. So I can select my hoop options. So if I want a small hoop or if I want to use one of the larger hoops, these hoops do go up to 360 by 200. So it's like 8 by 10, I believe, which is quite large. I'm just going to go somewhere in the middle. And everything on the screen I can drag to position. I can resize. I can rotate. We can just drag around on the screen, and I can change it. I can rotate it. I can rotate it 90 degrees, or I can rotate it by increments of 1. Whoops, hello. Let's go back to 90. That'll work. And I can move. I can duplicate. Can change the size. Change the size up to 20%, either larger or smaller. And that is protection. Because if you go larger or smaller, it's the same stitch count. So if you go too small and it has the same stitch count, it's not going to be pretty. So it protects you by only allowing you a certain amount. There is software you can get if you do want to add more than that or resize more than that. And then I can rotate this. And we'll make these little kissing cousins. There we go. But it is very easy to design embroidery on the screen. So whether or not you're going to just load the embroidery and stitch it out, or if you're going to design something, it is very, very easy. So it's right on the screen, and then there is your alternate choices here. So you can do resize, move, and rotate right there. Okay. You also have the ability to save, so you can save stitches or you can save designs. So once you have a design you're happy with and you're ready to stitch it out, but you need to stitch it out later, you can save it. There's also a wonderful feature that is available called My Sewn Net. So if you go to mysewnnet.com and create a free account by signing in, and then you can download the My Sewn Net app. And with the My Sewn Net app, you will sign in with the same email and password. But what it has is, it has this ability to, it has something called photo stitch, and this is free to you. But if you do photo stitch, you can take a photo, you can use a photo from your camera roll, you can take a photo, or you can use a photo from your camera roll and save it to the cloud on mysewnnet.com. So when you go to mysewnnet.com and create a free account, you get 100 megabytes of free storage. It's free. And so then you can use this app, send it to the cloud, and download it and use it however you want. This takes a USB stick. But these are some of the designs I've done with photo stitch. So here's one where I signed my name and I had a drawing of a flower. So that is right from your camera or your tablet or your phone or your tablet. Okay. This is my granddaughter. So this, I had a picture of her and I just used my phone. Isn't that amazing? And this can be done with this Designer Topaz 50, which is fabulous. And this is one of my favorites. This is some artwork that my grandson drew. And again, with my phone, I was able to turn it into a project. So yes, embroidery is amazing. If you've been thinking about it, check it out. The Husqvarna Viking Designer Topaz 50 is just amazing.